Hi, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Mind the Gap AI Solutions. I'm María Martell, CEO and host of the show. Today, I'm honored to introduce Dr. Christoph Ott, a PhD strategist who has served as managing director in Leysin American School for nearly 17 years, one of the best boarding schools in Switzerland and in the world, where I had the great fortune to work as an ESL teacher during the summer camps of 2018 and 2019. He has also been president of Quality Schools International, co-founder of Le Chalet Co-working Space, and is currently a founding member of Eastwood Montreux, a new Swiss boarding school that combines online education with entrepreneurial thinking and resilience. Christoph, thank you so much for taking the time of joining me today. It's wonderful to have you here.
It's a blast from the past, but a really good one. Thank you for having me.
Of course. So let's start with your boldest AI prediction for education.
So the first thing that AI is doing, it has continued on the trajectory of simplifying complexity for us. So I'll give you an example, and then I'll answer your question. So my younger son, who's now 15, he finished education in the Swiss system, is now in an international school, and I was helping him with math, and I'm an engineer by training, and he was in math when he was 13, 14-year-old on the science track. He was doing thermodynamics in his physics course. And I was scratching my head pretty avidly, not because of the content, but because I actually encountered the word thermodynamics for the first time at university only. And I was lying awake at night and trying to figure out what the hell was happening. I don't consider him massively smarter than I am. He probably is, by the way, but that's not the point. There's something systemic that changed. And what it is that they are using graphic calculators. So literally they're using, TI graphic calculators, colored. I had the black and white version at university, and they're using this already now in middle school. So what that little device has done, which is literally not much bigger than the size of a phone, it has absorbed a certain amount of the complexity that I was maybe dealing with when I was a high school student or a middle school student, of like maybe not quite multiplication tables, but like they skipped the whole part of things that we would have to work on and take time and invest time in, and it just basically short-circuited that whole process. Okay. And I really felt this in my own flesh, helping my own son preparing for his exams. The reality is AI is that on steroids. So literally, you're interested in thermodynamics, you say okay, you create a prompt, and I have a thermodynamics test. This is the content. This is my age. This is the system I'm in. Please prepare a study plan for me. I've got 1 weekend to figure it out. And you can do this pretty much for any single content matter or any subject that you can think of. And it will prepare a reasonably good and precise and better study plan for you. That's just if you want to study something. Now, I was reading an article in a French newspaper called Le Monde last week, and in Le Monde they were saying in 2022, when OpenAI put ChatGPT out there in the world, the first reaction was a year later of banning it. So New York, for example, the New York school district banned use of ChatGPT. That's 2023. 2024, it's okay, this thing is here to stay. How do we work with AI? Skip to 2025, which is now, universities are even asking themselves, why learn? Okay, so what is happening is this is creating such a tectonic shift in the value of knowledge and content that what my boldest AI prediction is, and if we really think about just this upcoming 18 months from now, I would say the use of computers and mouse and keyboards is fundamentally going to change, because it's all going to be dictated into an AI. I'm already right now, when I'm in the car, dictating emails to my ChatGPT, or I use a whole different bunch of AIs as well. So I don't even use anymore as much, typing and writing and using the mouse. So that's probably my first prediction. I would say thinking more into the future is something which is exciting and terrifying at the same time, is when you take AI as we know it now, which is 2D on a screen, and you make it 3D with robots. Which basically means that literally almost anything you can think of will be will be able to become taken care of by AI, whether it is going to be elderly care, whether it's going to be, pet walking, whether it's going to be manufacturing, can be all automated without human intervention anymore. So that is something which is at the horizon from what I'm reading, 3 to 5 year style, but it's coming very, very fast.
Yeah, it's already here. So what does a typical day look like for someone in your position with a new boarding school?
So it's two of us. There's a team of people working with us in the background remotely, but it's really the two main drivers on site here in Montreux, where I'm talking to you. It's two of us. And just to build the bridge with AI, without AI, we'd probably need another two people to do what we're doing, because AI is such an accelerator of productivity that we're fully leveraging it when you're in the startup situation. So how does a typical day look like? Right now, we're juggling a certain number of things, which one of them is finalization of the marketing and PR material, printing of brochures, interior design and renovation is another chapter that we're working on, hiring some staff members. And because we're really creating a boarding school we're doing something that has never been done before. So you said it in introduction, we are basically a very new transformative model of boarding school, because the academic content in the morning, and this is one of the few organizations that is part of a pilot project from the International Baccalaureate, which allows to give the entire International Baccalaureate diploma program, so the last 2 years of high school, online.
Oh,
okay. With absolutely mind-blowing results. I mean, we are talking here 39 out of 45 average points. To give you perspective, there are about 6,000 IB schools out there in the world. This online school, fully online, is ranked number 18 in the world. So this is absolutely transformative, and they do this in half the time.
Yeah,
which means you're done with your content, and this is not even AI. You're done with your content by midday, a little bit later than midday. How do they do it? Is they actually flip the classroom, and that is where AI comes into the game. They tell the kids, go home, do your homework, acquiring the knowledge, and come to class practicing homework like we would know traditionally with the subject matter expert, which is the teacher who will help you gain a deeper understanding of what you're doing. So basically the kids have an ability to self-learn the content and to really round up and deepen their knowledge with an expert online. And that all being recorded live over video conference, like what we're doing right now. And so the last piece of how our day looks like, and I'm sorry if I'm answering your question a bit lengthily, is we're creating an afternoon program called Impact. Okay. And this Impact program is, we're trying to really work on what truly matters, which is educating a human being, not just brains on legs, which means project-based learning, passion projects. How do you become literally the driver of your own life, of your own learning, as opposed to be a passive receiver, a spectator of a teacher telling you content that you just have to absorb and then regurgitate? No, here's are you super passionate about AI? Okay, well, look, we have a group of 53 leaders, because that's the number of years that the school, the original school of Eastwood, has been in existence, representing pretty much any industry that you can think of. And we will pair you up with one of our 53 leaders, and you have a 6-week sprint with a project description at the beginning and a presentation and a report at the end. And you can work on it on your own, independently, with coaches helping you, mentors helping you along the way. So it is a fundamental difference of becoming empowered and self-directed in your learning, as opposed to fit into a framework that is prescribed by, you name it, a government, a curriculum, a school.
Indeed. And what trends are you seeing in your industry to do with AI and maybe adapting these new softwares into the curriculum?
So education was really taken by surprise twice in a very short amount of time. So there was COVID, which forced everybody to figure out online teaching and learning. Yeah. And the first thing there that had very varying degrees of preparedness, depending on the school and the environment you were in. And what happened afterwards, and I'm brushing broad strokes right here. I'm not saying every school is like this, but what I was able to observe from a distance was the schools after COVID was done were so tired of just like the effort it took to adapt demanded so much of organizations and of the industry as a whole that they said, look, we go back to what we know. We go back to traditional teaching. We go back to what we know best. Okay. And so a lot of that window of change, that window of opportunity that this change brought kind of closed because of change fatigue, I would say. And then came OpenAI, and there you go. You're off to a roller coaster again. And what is happening there, and some schools are really thinking very, very creatively and deeply about it. Whereas in the past, it would be something along the lines of like, hey, go home and write your essay and come back as homework, and I'll correct it for you as a teacher. We've all gone through this. The new approach would be to say like, go home, write your essay with ChatGPT, come back into class, and we're going to take it apart. Okay, and that is a very different skill set. Whereas the skill set of the first exercise is one of deep thinking, construction of knowledge, construction of thought. The other one is critical thinking of thoughts given to you from an outside entity and trying to make up your own mind based on what you see. And so that is one of the big things that education has to kind of reinvent itself and reinvent its purpose, because originally education was here to transfer knowledge and prepare you to be a contributing member of society.
Yeah, indeed. And for example, when you have this type of homework sent to the students where they have to write essays or stuff, did you know that there are softwares that can tell you if it was written by AI or not?
Yeah, Turnitin would be one of them, but they're not good enough, because the cat and mouse game between the AI who produces the content and the AI who tries to catch the content is too fast. So you're always lagging behind. And literally, there's a prompt in any AI, and I'm just going to use ChatGPT because it's the most famous one, which is like, make this human. You can literally prompt it to make it sound like human, so it will then introduce a few mistakes, a few polishing, like unpolishing of the grammar, so it's not perfect, which then makes it very hard to detect by software packages who are trying to figure it out. And
there's no human that's going to be born in this lifetime that will ever be smarter than AI, basically.
That's true. Actually, there's a fascinating conversation with the former head of Google X, who's called Mogawat. And he was interviewed by one of my favorite interviewers called Diaries of a CEO, Stephen Bartlett. And I highly recommend it. It's very philosophical in a sense, but it's also kind of this spyglass into the future from somebody who is at the crossroads of this.
Yeah. Actually, I shared some of those thoughts on my newsfeed because it's super interesting. He was predicting stuff even before it happened many years ago. People weren't really paying too much attention, but it's absolutely accurate what he said.
And the reality is, and I think two of the core messages that come to mind right now, based on your question, is number one is the redefinition of value. So the societal transaction that we have in place is like, I give you my time and you give me money, and that money will allow me to buy stuff. Okay, in a world where AI is an infinite resource fed by renewable energies, let's just take solar panels. You can make manufacturing after the initial investment cost pretty much zero except for materials. What does that mean? Like, imagine like you don't have to pay for your car anymore because your car will cost a fraction of what it does. I mean, like just like the value, the societal tenets under which we have been growing up in terms of like, I give you time, you give me money, I can buy my stuff, I have a happy life, family, body, all this stuff has to be rethought. And so, yeah, that's a pretty very transformative thought process to go through, and ultimately, what it does do, it is forcing us, and that's why I'm, very much passionate about the project I'm involved right now. This new school here is you need people to be able to think for themselves. You need people to be able to decide for themselves. In education, there's a lot of buzzwords, and these are not buzzwords. This is like the new need in society that we're in, which is self-directed learning, agency. All these things are core for me, I try to encapsulate it in an entrepreneurial mindset. And I'm not talking about this in a business sense. I'm talking about this in a mindset of like, I see an opportunity, I have a solution, and I have a toolbox to fill it in. Or I see something that forces me to take initiative, take action about something, as opposed to be a passive receiver. Like either you live life or life lives you, kind of thing.
Exactly. And you were mentioning about 2020, how everything transitioned to online, especially with education. That's how I developed my online platform, teaching English and Spanish. And step by step, I was finding ways in which I could stop doing everything manually. I've learned about these AI softwares, and it made me see how this was really working so well. And I said, okay, I'm gonna be thinking outside the box and learn more about how does AI can transform not only my business but also provide this for other people, because the income for me would be higher than just teaching online lessons and charging an hourly rate.
Mhm.
And that's
Yeah.
precisely what's important to teach to the young generations these days, that they have to always stay open to changes.
Curiosity is courage in disguise. And we all have to be very courageous with what's coming on, because it is the kind of magnitude of change that we've not seen in our generation or our parents' generation. So it is one of those things that curiosity is going to be very, very, very important, and not intelligence. You said it yourself. Because of AI, once AI is more intelligent than human beings, which, arguably it's getting there if it's not already there, it's not going to be intelligence that's going to differentiate us, even socioeconomically. You're a very, very smart, I don't know, very smart guy who can deal with numbers. Well, you go into finance and socioeconomically you'll rise to the top. But that kind of advantage, because of the talent, becomes diminished.
So that's where consistency steps in, basically.
Yeah.
It's not about being
And
the smartest person in the room.
no, and it's humanity. I think, and I fundamentally believe in this, even if the whole system is rigged against what my belief is the belief that cooperation is better than competition. And it doesn't mean that cooperation is like sitting on your couch and not doing anything. It will drive. It's a form of drive as well as competition is a form of a drive. It's a form of energy. But the cooperation is a much deeper, longer lasting, better solution generating, but it's slower. Whereas competition can give you very fast, very quick results. And in the world accelerating as it is in part of AI, it is harder to take those timeouts. And if you allow me to share a story, I had a real big aha moment this summer. So I was running summer programs. I created my own summer programs now around resilience and design your life. So there's Resilience Boys, which is for 16, 18-year-olds. There's a Resilience Girls, separate genders, same age group as well. And then Design Your Life, which is for older kids, 18 kids, young adults, 18, 25-year-olds, okay? Very intense, very nourishing, very impactful. And then I took 10 days off, 2 weeks off, and I hiked. So I went to do the Camino. So I hiked from Porto to Santiago de Compostela.
Muy bien.
And I loved it. I mean, it was amazing. The summer before I did it as well, but I didn't do the pilgrim's route. I did just another hike in Galicia. It was amazing on my own. Here I did it the pilgrim's route. And literally, here's the reality. I walked on average 25 kilometers a day for 11 days.
By yourself?
Well, I met the Camino.
No, but I mean, did you go with Gosha or?
No, I went on my own.
It was your me time. Okay. Yes. It's important to have me times.
and you build a caravan of people because everybody walks more or less at the same pace, okay? But what is absolutely mind-blowing was for me is like I was walking for 11 days on my own, doing something that I could be doing with 3.5-hour bus ride. The bus ride from Porto to Santiago is 3.5 hours long. I hiked through 11 days and I felt really happy doing it. And it was, there was pains and there was blisters and there was tiredness, there was grumpiness, there was heat, I mean, you name it, it was all there. But you know what? Happiness for me comes in friction. Okay, it's the friction, it's the roughness, it's the slowing down, the friction, the questioning. And the problem is that AI is a lubricant. It's an accelerator and it's a lubricant. It gets rid of friction and accelerates everything, which is also one of those things where I have a strong intuition that the generation that's coming after us, the generation of our kids, are the ones who are a little less happy than we are because they don't have those slow times, those slow moments, that slowing down thing, which gives meaning and happiness and purpose.
They just have it too easy.
And Mogawat gives this very insightful recommendation at the end. Is like, in order to make AI the best version of itself possible, train it to be kind and good. Meaning when you prompt AI, because every time you prompt it will learn, thank you, please. And it doesn't mean you're going to humanize a machine that is not human, but you try to prompt it to kindness and towards humanity versus ruthlessness and negativity and all the stuff, all the dark stuff that we as a species are capable of. Okay. My fear is that as a species, we learn out of crisis and we usually go from darkness towards light. And I think we're going to go through probably a period of darkness until something shifts, blows up, changes, I'm not sure what, until we learn our lesson and then go back to using AI for good. Whether it is going to be, using that technology for, warfare, for surveillance, for all these things, which is, already happening to a certain degree. I think there's been more of that before the good stuff
Public
comes out.
knowledge, basically, because this has been happening way before it became a hype at the moment.
Yeah. I mean, look, if you look at the generational defining story of our parents, which is the Second World War, as bad, as traumatizing, and as bad and as dark as these times were, after the darkness came a lot of light with a lot of good things, and literally a generation, our parents and us, of peace, to a certain degree, of prosperity, of cooperation, and everything else. And that's kind of the cycle of history playing itself out. I really don't wish for it, but I worry about it.
Yeah, of course. It makes sense as well. Have those trends or those fears or whatever impacted the way you see life or the way you've been running the new Swiss boarding school?
Oh, it's been giving me a ton of energy to continue doing what I'm doing, because ultimately, it's maybe a bit cheeky what I'm going to say here, but I'm running a massive outsourcing company for world betterment, which means if you do give the next generation those skills, those values, and I'm talking about skills, really skills and values, not content, because that obviously because of AI is becoming less important, but the skills and values which are becoming more important, that will help them shape a better world and like a world of kindness, a world of cooperation. Hey, then I go to bed and sleep happy.
Yeah, of course. Where do you see, or where do you want to be in the next 6 to 12 months from now on?
It's still in Montreux, I hope. We're in the middle of ramping up all of our efforts. The school will open officially next August. We're going to have some summer programs prior to that. And I think, what I would love to see is the first cohort of students after 1 year and how transformed they are, kind of not to do any mentioning any brands or anything like that, but like those Weight Watcher pictures of like before and after, except it's a mental picture of the inside, before and after of the students leaving after 1 year of experience here.
Good. And what's the biggest challenge you anticipate on the way to getting there at the moment? Especially because you're just getting started.
Yeah, I think to be honest, like and this is something that you reminds me of when you and I met first, is in the summer program. Running a summer program is not hard. Literally, what it is fast and complex. Okay, and so it's the complexity that gets to you. It's you cannot, you have to realize, remember, you have to basically remind yourself you're not a superhero. You can't do it all. And so I think it's
but
kind
there
of.
We were all superheroes. Sometimes waking up at 3:50, going all the way to the airport, and finishing until 11:30, 12 p.m. the same day.
So,
and it felt great, honestly.
It feels great, and it's incredibly nourishing and fulfilling. And you go and you literally, you have so much fun doing it. You really do. The reality is you cannot go at this pace ad infinitum. So there's a moment where, you have to go in cycles, basically. And I think for me, my worry is the complexity and sustaining the energy levels to make sure you really offer that impact that I aspire to have on those kids.
Yeah, it makes sense. And I've been organizing as well some language immersion excursions here in the UK and in Madrid. And I don't see myself being able to keep up doing it like month after month. Like for the summer, an experience, it's okay, but not on a regular basis. It's too much of a responsibility as well. But it's really nice.
And there's something else to what you're just saying, is that you will be able to sustain it for longer than you think you can because of AI. Because again, AI is absorbing. It's like a big vacuum cleaner of complexity.
Yeah.
Like it just sucks it all up and simplifies stuff for you. So a lot of the management stuff that you do for your programs, or that I have to do for my programs, AI will be able to take care of if it doesn't already do it for you. You know what I mean? Like it is literally like, and one of the something I read about AI recently, where they're saying like managers, which is literally like the definition of managers, management of people and organization and scheduling and all these things. All of this is very easily copyable by AI. Even like I have this device here called Plod, which records and does summaries of meetings. I just got it. A friend of mine recommended it to me. Every meeting I have, I get an AI summary afterwards that takes care of minutes, and then it gives you the action items of what has happened. So it really gets you to fully be in your impact, as opposed to in the administrative side of the impact.
Yeah, there's also an online software called Fathom, which does pretty much the same. It records the meeting and gives you some reports of the highlights, and it's really nice.
I mean, the beauty of this is that this goes to the back of your phone and can travel with you in your pocket.
Okay, it's not digital. So basically, you could be recording.
But I don't know how it works yet.
Oh, this is the thing. Like we cannot say with AI like, oh, I have 10 years of experience doing it. We're constantly learning, and I think it's good because that way it motivates you to stay sharp, and it's good for exercise the mind.
and look, it keeps us young. So my partner in crime, and what I'm doing here now on the ground in Montreux, is a 27-year-old Oxford graduate. So very sharp, very smart, super kind, wise beyond his years. But he's also keeping me on my toes. Keeps us young.
Exactly. No, and I know there are these kids. They're pretty much like 18, 19, coding and making millions, developing their own softwares.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So it's not about the amount of years of experience you have. It's about just, as you say, staying open and keep learning the latest trends.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. What's the biggest struggle for you guys adopting AI into the boarding school when it comes to hiring staff members, or behind the scenes, not only with the students?
I think it's hiring for character more than competence, because with character you get those people, exactly what you just said, like that curiosity, the bravery of being curious, of being open, of being vulnerable, of being authentic, of agreeing that you don't know it all. When education per se is a space where, when you are a teacher, you are a subject matter expert, and that expertise comes with authority, etc., etc. So it's people who feel comfortable, maybe taking a bit more of a coaching role. And I've been doing a lot of executive coaching in the past few years, because these are skills I really want to take in. Which is fundamentally, a coach is what? A coach is a person who has a toolbox, who believes when they talk to their coachee, that the coachee has all the answers inside of them already. And the only job you have, quote unquote, is to, through questions, help them reveal what they already have inside of them. And that is something fundamentally different than what the role of an educator, of a teacher, is perceived as nowadays.
Yeah, of course. And when it comes to the hiring process, how are you managing that?
To be really, really honest, we are so busy doing other stuff for now, that hiring is going to be coming on to us probably in the next 3 to 4 weeks. And in that time, I mean, look, the reality is CVs are not worth what they used to be. And with ATS, applicant tracking systems, you can automatically filter through CVs, thousands of CVs in hours.
Yeah.
So you have to look at it very differently. And so we do a lot of direct outreach
And there are
inside of
these
our networks.
softwares where you can be having an online interview, and the robot will tell you if that person, if she or he is a left brainer, if he's actually lying, if he's a good fit, and at the same, I mean, it's very helpful, but at the same time, a robot will tell you if you're good or not for your job. And
But look, there's something I've been using in coaching a lot, which is psychometric tests. Okay, and psychometric testing is kind of behavioral psychologists and statisticians creating questionnaires to help you and whoever's administering the test get a better understanding of yourself. So every coaching cycle starts for me with a psychometric test, which has a 2-hour-long debriefing of a test, which is 45 minutes long, and it pretty much makes the person for themselves, but also for the coach, into an open book. And these tests also exist, kind of what you're describing, in the hiring space. So it's an extra tool of awareness, more so than a tool of filtering. The beauty of this, we're a pretty small organization, and we are looking for very specific profiles. So we're not looking at, we're not like a Nestle, which is right down the street, who will get, hundreds of thousands of CVs in a year, I'm assuming, and has to go through them. For us, it's just we're looking for 10, 20 people with very specific profiles. So so I guess what I'm trying to say is, yes, I will be using psychometric testing most likely in the hiring process as well. We haven't started it quite officially yet. But the reality is it is still going to be kind of, a manual, where art meets science kind of thing. Like the art is the intuition, the human dimension of it. And the science is that you want to use these things to give you more information to help sharpen your senses before hiring somebody.
Well, so Christoph, where can people find you if they're interested in learning more about this new Swiss boarding school?
So I'm always responding over LinkedIn. That's a very easy way to do it.
Okay.
That's how you and I got back in touch again after a pretty long break. Otherwise, Eastwood Montreux, literally how it's written, and Montreux is Montreux.ch, Eastwood Montreux. And our new website, we have a landing page right now, and now there's a new website in production coming out in the next 24 or 48 hours. Things are moving very fast in my space right now, so everything is coming together very fast, which is very enthusing.
Well, thank you so much. It's been great having you here.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. It's a pleasure. And thank you for bringing this very, very important topic to the people.